Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next session of From Nothing, Lorna's story. We're picking off a little bit ahead of where we left off. You spend that evening, having returned, you drink and have a good time, and then it is the next morning, fairly early. Lorna, you awaken in your dorm. What do you do?
I got a couple people I'd like to talk to since we're not going until tomorrow morning because of our orders of armor and arrows.
Mm-hmm.
The selfishness of my party members, I can't believe it. Uh, so first things first, I would really like to pop in and see Maxwell. I know whereabouts he hides.
You have an idea.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you head down towards
To
the...
towards the selection room, but I am going to make a deliberate search for the rogue classroom that I'm certain is nearby because I'm a mercenary now and not just a student. Maybe that matters.
Okay, roll an investigation check at disadvantage.
Aw. Shit. 11. Terrible roll.
You look around, you investigate the immediate area around the selections room, the wall across it, and you don't see any sign of a hidden door or anything like that. And
At a
as you're
point, she's on
looking,
her hands and knees looking at like the crown molding along the walls.
you hear, Miss Holloway.
Uh, she'll look up.
Persh is like leaning over the side of the desk and looking down over at you.
Um, I was actually looking for Maxwell.
Right. Would you like me to reach out to him for you?
Yeah, I would. Kind of stand up and dust herself off.
The door to the selections room opens, and Maxwell. Hello?
Hey, I got a question. Maybe two. Do you mind?
Right, what do you need? What is it? Is it something you need to
Well,
be in private?
yeah, I'd prefer it.
Let's take a walk.
Oh, a walk.
He heads out the main doors.
A
Uh,
walk. She skips after him.
okay. As you walk with Maxwell around the front and the courtyard of the Maryguard Academy, he's walking with you and he says, "Right, so what is it you need?"
My first question was if Professor Daring got in touch with you before I got back.
I've heard word, eh?
Did you use those light spotty things?
He does not respond.
What did he call them? Semaphore? Therma? I don't actually
Is
know
this
really
you
how they.
attempting to pry information out of me, Lorna? Because it's
I was
really
just. No, no, no. I was just trying to remember what he called them. I'd heard about them before I'd met him.
semaphore.
Semaphore, thank you. Yeah, I think that's really interesting technology. I might look into that. Like a portable one. That's really beside the point. I did want to know who else might know about me, who I need to be more aware of.
Who else? You mean
I
aside
suppose.
from the master?
Sure. Like he knew who I was before I introduced myself, which made me a little uncomfortable.
You do understand that when you are doing tasks for the Merigod Academy, we do have a network of important information, particularly when you have other operatives of the Copper Mask with you.
Sure, but I mean, some aspect, like you could have just been like, young woman, dark hair, wizard, but something about ancient evils that follow me around. It felt like that wasn't like a necessary piece of information someone else needed to know about me.
You're traveling with a false name.
Yes.
Was there a point to this?
I guess not. I will just assume that whatever information about me goes to other people is need to know.
I'm going to ask that you trust me as the
I do.
Narragan spy master.
I definitely do. Have you, I guess in that similar vein, have you heard anything about the master or maybe that thing that I had to do for her before I graduated?
Yes. Do you need to know?
I would, yes, I definitely need to know.
We had an infiltration attempt a few days ago. Someone teleported into Mr. Torno's office.
Oh, is that what that did?
Apparently. We had a feeling it would be something like that as a marker for location. They are of no longer any concern.
Yeah. I sure hope she doesn't immediately blame me for that, but I'm sure eventually I'll have to face consequences of my actions.
Have you not heard anything from her?
No, not a word.
Lilith came to me
Lilith?
yesterday. Aye. She said that you had mentioned talking to me a bit about this.
Yeah.
She asked how much you'd told me. I refrained from giving any information away. Lilith is not so... What's the word I'm looking for? Careful in how she speaks. Deception is not a strong point for Lilith. These questions that she was asking, it was clear they might not have been her original idea to ask.
Right. She was sent to pry, or at least try to.
Right. I diffused the situation, but she might come find you and ask questions directly. I suggest you answer much the same as I did.
Selectively?
That's a word for it. Carefully. In a way that doesn't get you stabbed.
So saying, hey, I've just decided to like cut my losses and put all of my loyalty in the Mara Garden, you don't think that would go well, being honest?
That depends. How in tight do you think Lilith is with the Master, and how friendly to you is she?
I think she is scared as shit of the master and thinks of her as one of, if not her only option. I don't think there's love there. I don't even think there's loyalty there. I think there's just coercive force. However, we are not exactly best friends. But I've always been honest with her.
Well, fear is a powerful tool, but it has its limits. I suppose that will have to be up to your judgment.
Okay. I appreciate that. That is what I wanted to know. This is more inconsequential, but my last request was, I know you, rogues, in your business have a certain method of communication.
I'm not a rogue. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. I know in the world there's a subtle form of communication
Mm-hmm.
that isn't the blinky lights I was talking about, more like gestures. Is there any way I could learn some of that?
Have you got 100 gold?
Shit. No. I kind of went on a bit of a spending spree. Do you take IOUs?
That was mostly a joke.
Oh.
I was referring you would begin a course as a rogue.
Oh. See, I don't want to become fluent. Um, I want to learn how to say like a name.
Does the name mean something? Because typically it's gestures that mean something.
Can Lorna think back to the name? I think Skolna said Carcerix.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like like a name in a language she's familiar with? Like, does that have like heritage or roots?
You can roll Arcana or History.
I will do history. Oh my God, Lorna. Natural one. Um, for a
You have no
9.
idea.
Yeah, so she kind of shakes her head. I'm not sure.
It does make
It's
it a little trickier. Is
You
the
don't have like a one-to-one letter translation.
Well, there is, but it takes a while. Um,
This is something I want to broach a subject in to someone who doesn't talk a lot, and I want to kind of convey that I'm asking carefully because I want it to be on their terms, whether they want to talk about it or not. But there's no chance of it being overheard. Does that make sense?
oh, it does.
Can I insight check him? Does he know what I'm talking about?
You can roll an insight check.
Like, does he get what I'm hint, hint, wink, winking? 23.
He knows you're talking about Skona.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going to get any more than that.
Yeah, no, I wasn't expecting more. I was waiting for you to continue as Maxwell.
um, if I will tell you, the language of my trade is one that is carefully protected. If this was for anyone other than one of my daughters, I would definitely not have passed it on. But if you just mean to mention a name,
The name.
I could show you how to sign it out. What's the name?
Okay. I guess I could say it out loud. She just lowers her voice and she just says, I believe I heard her say the name Carcerix. And I don't think she quite intended for me to hear it, but
Maxwell thinks for a moment. And then you see he does a string of gestures that don't look like anything other than someone who looks a little fidgety. You would not catch these. Like, you're not even
Right.
sure he's signing anything to you until
it like if you saw someone doing it, you might think they were just kind of idly like,
fixing their clothes
yeah.
or like scratching their nose and such. I need you to roll me an intelligence check.
Okay. Lorna, 10. Not her strong suit.
He watches and it's clear you're not getting it. He says, all right, let me break down the basic principle. The upper half of the alphabet. Right side, upper body. The first 5 letters, you move down by joints. And he breaks down how the alphabet works.
Wow. Okay.
And then he shows you again. Roll me another intelligence check.
On. Oh my God, 23. She just needed principles to apply it to.
Yeah, once you understand that it's based around like the natural anatomy of the body matching up to letters, you get it. It's deceptively simple, and really the hard part is keeping it looking very well discreet.
Yeah, you got to pace yourself so it doesn't look like you're doing it too quickly or too deliberately.
But you see, you understand now how to say the word carcerix in Thieves' Camp. And he wasn't kidding, it does take a moment. Like, it's not... You really get the impression that this language is designed to convey quick ideas, not complicated words.
Right. Like, it's kind of like how I understand sign language to be. People with names, you can either spell it out letter by letter or like you're given like a symbolic gesture to encompass a name.
Yep.
So if I knew what I could use that name for, it would be easier, but I don't, so this is what I have to settle with.
He looks and he says, "All right, you do it."
She'll try to repeat it back.
Roll me a dexterity check.
Can I have advantage because I rolled so well?
No.
Damn it.
It's not a hard DC.
12.
As you sign it out, you are clumsy about it. Your gestures are way over the top. It's obvious you're doing something. And he, like, reaches up and he says, "Softer." And he, like, puts his hands on your shoulders and presses your arms down. And he says, "You're just scratching itches. Your clothes ain't fitting right. Relax. Try again."
16.
You manage it. He kind of winces a little bit at a couple letters, but
Sorry.
it's all right. It's not the trade for everyone, but that'll pass. Skolna will get the idea.
Who said anything about Skolna?
And at this point, you're like behind the Merry-Guard, and he says, "Was there anything else?"
No, I'm about to head out for a couple weeks. I assume if something needs to be said, you'll find your way.
Actually, are you passing through Olga City?
Yes.
I could use a delivery.
Or two.
Within Olga City, you'll find the Jewelers Guild.
Okay.
If you find a man in there by the name of Taylor Hewell.
Taylor Hewell.
No, I have something that you could give him. It'd save me a lot of time and money.
Sure, I can do that. Do you have it on you, or do you want... I'm leaving first thing tomorrow, so...
I'll give it to you in the morning.
Okay, I can do that.
There's 50 gold in it for you.
And thank you for helping me.
Like I said, it's only because of who it was.
Yeah.
Good day. And Maxwell
She'll
just walks
nod.
off.
Whew. Okay, that was more complicated than I thought it was going to be, but... Hey.
Really? A whole language? You didn't think it would be expensive? Or complicated?
Lorna is going to... she's going to go to Folly. Skip.
Okay.
Touching base with all of her professors.
Yeah. Folly's classroom is easy enough to find. You know exactly where it is. You've been here before. As you arrive, opening up the door to the basically piece of another world, you see Folly is having a conversation with a little halfling.
Does it look like he's instructing or just talking?
Yeah, he's instructing. It looks like he has his hands apart and he has like a long strand of all sorts of nuts and beads along it. And as you open the door, he goes, "Oh, hey there.
Hello.
You caught me right in the middle of something."
No, please go on. I can wait.
Okay, great. Fantastic. So, and he does continue with the lesson, and then he passes the string lined with all sorts of what look like nuts to the halfling.
Mm-hmm. I do have a quick question. Does it seem like the student notices me because I am a mercenary now?
Roll an insight check.
Insight. Natural 20. Why insight checks?
She didn't even look. She didn't even look your way.
Yeah.
She was busy looking up at the nuts. You don't think you even registered.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Okay. She'll come over to Folly and say, "A long time no see."
It has been a minute. Where's your pink-haired friend?
He is, I'm sure, just getting absolutely blitzed. We're not heading out until tomorrow. I did have a question about somewhere we're headed.
Well, it is good to mix in relaxation in between professionalism. Cool, cool, cool. What do you need?
We're heading north toward the Rimwood, and I need to see a, a druid's circle there. And I was wondering if you could tell me anything about them.
All right. So the Rimwood, big place.
I
Gonna need a
do
little
have
bit more.
I have a specific name.
Okay,
I'm
because
just
there's lots of circles, both above and underground. Gonna need if you got the name, let's hit me with it.
the Verdant Grove.
Okay. All right. Yeah, one of the oldest ones around. Sure.
I see. So, in terms of oldness for Druid Groves, what makes one old? Like, how long is old for a Druid's Grove?
Well, that's a complicated question because sometimes it depends on who the elders are.
I have a name for that too. Does that help?
It could, yeah.
I believe the head of that grove is Nolu, or at least was.
Okay, we're breaking into Archdruid territory here.
Does Lorna remember what race Nolu was from her vision?
Roll history. Yeah, roll history.
25.
You're pretty sure Nolu was an Eladrin.
Oof, yeah, she could be old.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in Eladrin, if I recall correctly.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, that's the. So, gonna have to break into the history a little bit of the circles around here, which really I don't talk about to students that aren't like druid students because it doesn't come up much. But since you're asking, like pre-silence,
A couple thousand years.
like millennia, multiple of them. Impossible to know the sorts of things they've seen. They get to an age, archdruids do, where they stop like perceiving time the same way as you and me. It's real fascinating, honestly. Trying to get some information out of some can be real difficult because you have to remind them what era of their life they might have been in. So, but when you piece it out and you can unlock those stories, they can be the most interesting things you've ever heard in your life. And I say that from experience as a Clearwater. So, if you're looking for the Verdant Grove, I gotta know why. Because this is one of the oldest circles, I think, in the world.
I'm researching some family history.
And someone got a little comfortable with one of the naturalists, huh? I get
You
it.
definitely say that.
We do have our charm. I get it. Okay.
You're absolutely right.
Okay. So, if it's like every other circle I've heard of, relationships and how they connect are real important to these naturalists. It's really valuable to know where you came from and where your family came from. So, I'm pretty certain if they're on good terms with the circle, there's going to be a family tree. There's going to be some sort of, history written about this.
Lorna kind of winces at the word, like, if you're on good terms. And I think it's pretty obvious.
I can tell by the things I'm telling you that this is not the best news.
Well, so, okay. I suppose several greats grandmother married a druid from that grove.
Okay, good taste. Go on.
When her husband died, she had a falling out with the members of that grove.
Oh. What kind of falling out? Like, are we talking, just an argument over who got the best jelly, or is this deeper than that?
It's deeper. I think a shaman died in the crossfire.
Okay, all right. Well, as you know, well, maybe you don't.
I don't.
All right. For naturalists, death is natural. It's part of the life cycle. When we die, we go back to the world, and the world breathes from us.
You see, the problem is he didn't die naturally. He died in one of the most horrible, unnatural ways possible.
The shaman did.
No, the husband.
Oh.
It was at the hands of a night walker.
Oh.
And
You see, Folly looks... So normally has a very relaxed and, like, cool, like, always, like, half smile on his face. It vanishes. That's one of the worst ways one can go. Yeah.
So she couldn't come to terms with that death. My
can't blame her.
grandmother.
Yeah, that's a rough nut. I understand.
So in her grief, there was a bit of an altercation, and I know at least 2 people died in that altercation, and I'm trying to make amends for that by visiting them.
Oh.
But I'm worried the history is a problem.
Okay. No, you're making the right steps to make amends, to repent for a family's transgression. That's the right thing to do. So, here's what you do.
Okay.
You take it from a naturalist like myself, I would know. Mm-hmm. You need to find a properly magical, natural phenomenon. It can be a tree that's growing someplace it never should be able to, or you could venture to the Feywild or the Beastlands. But you need to find something that's unique, natural, and truly phenomenal. Once you find that, you make an homage to it. Whatever that ritual is to you, it doesn't really matter, but you have to mean it. It has to come from your soul. Once you've done that, you've made that homage, you bring proof of it to the offended party. In this case, one of the oldest circles in the world. So you better not take any shortcuts, because they're going to know. You mean it?
How would I bring proof?
Well, once you've made your homage, you're going to have a physical creation the phenomenon's going to give you.
I see.
And it only happened once you've truly connected with it. You'll know it when it happens, I promise. There'll be no questions.
Okay.
Once you have your relic of Nth, is what they're going to consider it. You'll bring it to them. They'll accept it as tradition. And then either they will choose based on your offering to forgive you or forbade you from ever appearing.
I can't come back. Yeah.
It's either that or they try to kill you, so...
Right, so if I just showed up and I was like, hey...
Oh, no. If you're not repentant for what happened...
I am!
Right. If you don't prove it, they'll try to kill you.
Okay, shit. Alright. How am I supposed to find a phenomena of the natural world?
I mean, naturalist, I can help if you want.
Please help me. Please help me. Please. She puts her hands together. This is really important to me.
All right. First thing first, if I'm going to help you with this, we need to be honest with each other. All right?
Okay. Yes.
100%. Can't be any deception or secrets about this.
Kind of stares into the middle distance.
While he catches that, he puts a hand on your shoulder and he says, I understand. Everyone comes from someplace else. Everyone has a life before them. It's never easy to let go. It's never easy to forgive yourself, and it's never easy to forgive others. But in order to achieve true balance, you gotta.
Okay. So the whole story I told you, how honest does that have to be? To you, since you're asking for total honesty. Do I have to I should probably just start from the beginning.
Look, we're both with the Merigard, but we're also both intelligent, people, right? Like,
I think
I
so.
realize you're not telling me the whole truth, and that's okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to pull you over the fires for it, but if I'm going to help you with this, I got to know what I'm working with.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And so I said it was like my great something grandmother, right?
Yeah,
It was more like me.
gotten a little questiony, but all right, keep going.
Well,
Because
so it's not,
you look like you're 18, maybe.
I'm 19.
I was close.
I have two souls, and the other one is a lot older than the current one, and she has a history of poor choices, and she lost her husband, and she killed some people because of that.
Everyone deals
And
with pain in different ways. Okay.
in bad ways. Uh-huh. And I'm trying to make up for this because I want to get my other soul's husband to the afterlife that he's always deserved in the Beastlands.
Okay. See, I believe that.
It'd be a really stupid lie.
It would. I've definitely heard better, but all right. So your previous self, the soul that's
Yes.
bound to you,
Yes.
you're trying to repent on their behalf
Yes.
because it's technically you.
Yes. And we're identical, so if I had just shown up to the grove looking as I did and
They
they
would
weren't,
have absolutely killed you.
I'm so glad I talked to you first.
They would have killed you and burned your remains to the gods of Anth. That's for sure. So,
Okay.
yep, glad you stopped here first. Okay. Do you prefer cold weather or warm weather?
Warm weather.
Okay. Do you like it when the trees are aglow with new life, or do you prefer when they've settled, like in the summer?
In the summer.
Okay. Have you ever encountered, in any of your travels, a dryad or a nymph?
Yes.
Didn't expect that. Okay. Gonna need
In
that.
the woods right out here. What are they?
Oh,
Avon?
yeah. Right. Yeah.
Did I say that wrong?
Um, the Aelin.
Sorry, and I know it's an A. What is it?
Orin.
Thank you.
Okay, it's all good. I just was confused. I was like, did I
Allin. It's
misplace?
Allin. I just looked at the map.
Okay. Right. I forget that we have a lot of fae that just kind of slip through around here. I think that might be my fault because I did this whole, It's not important. Okay. Here's what you do. Where you found that dryad, do you remember?
It was a nymph.
Okay. Where you found that nymph, do you remember where?
Yeah, I could probably recollect. I was on a walk.
Okay. What you got to do is go where you found that nymph, and you're going to look for a phenomena that sticks out to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be probably a unique tree or plant, but it might be a formation or it might be some sort of magic. I'm not sure. It's
I
different for
think
every
that
person.
they were bathing in a river or by a waterfall.
Okay. And it was a nymph.
For sure.
And you didn't go blind.
I recognized what it was immediately, and I made sure me and my companion were not looking at it.
Okay, quick thinking. Well done. Not everyone can boast such things, so quick thinking on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go back to that place, and you're going to make sure there's not a nymph that'll make you go blind.
Yeah, I know it's a solvable condition, but I'd rather not have to take those steps as well.
Right. So, what do you know about the old gods of Anth?
I don't.
Okay. That's not a problem. That's why I'm here to help you. As a teacher, These are the sorts of lessons that I usually, get paid to give. But it's all right. Let's see here. And you see he's insight checking you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's your alignment?
It's been up for debate.
I'm asking you right now what you think your alignment is.
I feel like she tends toward good deeds.
Okay.
I don't think she's particularly lawful. I don't think she's particularly chaotic. I would say Lorna tries to act in neutral good aspects.
Okay. What happens next is jarring.
Okay.
Folly suddenly reaches into his bag and he pulls out a small pouch and he's like pressing his thumb into it and he says, "Don't move." And then he presses his thumb to your forehead and twists it.
Okay.
You feel something pressed onto your forehead. And he says, "Okay, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to that spot and you're going to go there at night. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
While you're there, one of the gods of Amph is going to resound out to you. Based on who you are, you can expect it to be the goddess of the moon.
Okay.
There's a big difference between clerics and paladins and us. As druids, we respect the gods exist. They don't really have anything to do with us. But Amph does. The world we're in sings to them, just like the suns sing to all the plants around here. So, if you're looking for a phenomena, the only way to truly find it and know it's for you and your repentance is through the gods.
Okay.
Luminous will show you the way if you go there and you ask her to show you.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll do that tonight.
Good. Then, be honest with yourself more than anything else, but also maybe not try to lie to the god of the moon.
No, I don't think that would go very well.
And go by yourself.
Okay. What does my other soul count?
I don't know.
I can't really leave her behind.
Then I guess that answers that question.
Okay, I won't bring a tangible person with me.
Right. I will say, of all the students that have come here and asked me for help, that's one of the weirdest I've ever heard. And I've heard some weird stuff. Like half dragons that can't find their actual, human parent and were raised by the actual dragon. I've had 3 of those.
That's weird that that's happened 3 times.
Right? Who's out there just boning dragons and then running off?
Were they all related?
No. Well, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. They never found the father, so I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyway, I shouldn't really talk about other students' histories like that, but that was a long time ago.
Before I really appreciate this. This has been immensely helpful. I'm so glad that I didn't just go to the grove and die. When I said the name Nolu, you seem to have an idea who I was talking about.
Every druid who's been in the circle for a period of time and talked with a council of elders, they know the name Nolu. She's one of the oldest archdruids on Amph.
Okay. Have you met her?
No. That would be... You have.
Well, she officiated my wedding. Her wedding. Our wedding.
I see. Okay.
So we were on good terms at one point.
Probably, especially if this husband who died terribly was part of her circle. This probably hit home pretty hard for her.
They refused to bring him back with the magics they knew. It was the only option because this was during the silence. and they thought that
Right.
he'd come back wrong because of his death.
Yep. That kind of makes sense from a natural standpoint. Death at the hands of a Nightwalker rends your soul to pieces and pulls it from this plane into theirs. I can't really think of a worse way to go. It's basically unending torment at the hands of a creature that doesn't want to see anything but pain exist in the world.
Yeah, Lorna just keeps flinching as he continues. Yeah, so I didn't take it very well when they refused to bring him back, and I guess I went full scorched earth policy at that
I
time.
I really hate to say this to you right now in this moment of vulnerability, but I think they were right.
I agree with you. And we've done some reflecting, which is why we're trying to make amends. It's just been a couple hundred years.
It's good that you're doing this. And I think their circle,
Okay.
and Nolu in particular, will see you making this attempt as an apology and repentance. And I think they'll see that you mean it. So
I
long
hope
as
so.
you do.
I do, and I'm going to. Hopefully, Luminos will guide me tonight. Tonight. Okay.
Maybe steer away from the alcohol before you do
I
it.
will be of sound, anxious mind when I meet the goddess of the moon.
I've never had to make a ritual of repentance, but from what I've heard, it can be jarring. And I don't want you to, toss your cookies when a goddess is literally pulling at your soul, So,
Yeah, sorry. What did you put on my head?
oh,
There's something there.
don't smudge it.
Oh, she doesn't touch it.
It's it's just a mark of luminous. It's just to show, maybe a little bit of respect. It's
So
just
much respect. All the respect.
it's good thing it wasn't something like Pyrrhus or something, because luminous' symbol is just a dot, and it's real easy.
Well, Pierce would have helped too. He actually has, I believe, dominion over my ex-husband or my late husband's soul right now. I'm not really sure how it works. I just know he's in the vicinity.
I don't know if I can convey just how beyond my depth that is, but
Right, that's a whole other. I need to make amends with the Grove first before I can even think about getting his soul where it needs to be.
right.
Thank you, Folly. Really.
Hey, I'm here to help. It's one of my favorite things to do.
You did such a good job.
He smiles big and wide, and then he turns and he says, "No, Eleanor, you start from the other side." And he goes to the halfway.
Lorna will take her cue of dismissal.
Yep.
I'm assuming they talked within the vicinity of this halfling, but the halfling just paid them no mind.
Exactly.
She's like, this is so cool. Shit. Okay, fuck. At least. To the warlock classroom.
Okay. So you leave. You leave Folly's classroom. The amazing, basically, surrounding of magic and the Fae is gone. And you make your way across the hall, all the way down the far side of the building, and you go to the warlock's classroom. The classroom is empty, except for the gentle tones of music, as Elise is sitting at the piano. She doesn't have a warlock student right now. As you enter,
My dream job is just being a professor at
yeah,
the Marigard and not having any students.
as you enter the room and she's playing this music on the piano, she just says, "One moment, I'm trying to get this verse."
Lorna makes a noise of assent and waits patiently.
Okay. It's a complicated song. But it's one that you've heard before. It's the sort of thing that you would hear in a noble's courtroom, and you realize you've heard it in Irongate.
While Elise is playing, I think Lorna would kind of start swaying and then maybe do a few turns
Yeah.
that she has memorized from her experience dancing in ballrooms.
I think Elise might not act like she notices, but I'm pretty sure she does. But she just continues to play. And while it seems like she's learning the song, the part that she already has down always goes smoothly. And I think it would probably make you feel a bit nostalgic.
Yeah.
Finally, after her many attempts, which I rolled really well on, so she gets it, like, quickly, she turns on the bench in front of the piano and she says, Lorna,
Elise.
how can I help you? Have you considered my
Oh,
offer of a pact?
I've definitely thought. I've aimed some thoughts at that. I did have some new information for you I thought you might be keenly interested in.
Mm-hmm.
You know how I'm from Lucifax.
You did
No
mention.
preamble. Well, you mentioned when that devil took a piece out of me. I actually have a name now.
You do?
I do. I know what my first name was.
Oh,
I mean, I don't think that's where you're from, but maybe you've heard the name before, or I may have some information on it.
perhaps.
Um,
What is it?
I had a memory where I was called Bellador Lefray.
Elise blinks a couple times. Oh. Yes, I've heard the name.
She looks eager. She kind of takes a few steps forward. Can you tell me anything about it?
The Lefray household in Lucifax was one of the 9 matriarchal families. One of the ones responsible for the slave trade.
Yep, that sounds about right.
So, I don't know specifically Bellador, but Lefray was the name of a powerful family who held quite a bit of control in the city. So,
When you said hell, do you know if they still do? Or have they, have they survived this long? I know it was kind of a dog eat dog world down there.
do you want the long or the short of it?
I like long.
I'm sure you do. Well, as you are aware, or maybe you're not, the society within any dark elf civilization still under the rule of Enosa, particularly during the Silence, was tyrannical and rewarded the most ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
The Lefray household, I spoke in the past tense because it was widely known to be one of the families that was destroyed in a coup.
Okay. Lorna does not look troubled by this.
So, it means that if your previous self was a Bellador Lefray, you might be the last remaining member of a Lefray household.
That's probably fine. When I escaped, I was worried particularly about my brother finding out. So if he's dead, then hey, no problem.
I would suspect every one of them has perished. If there are any survivors, they are likely kept as slaves for other matriarchal households.
I mean, if they kept slaves, they probably deserved it.
I think you might be right. It is remarkable how living topside would change one's impression of how life should be. A while ago, had you told me that, I probably would have been quite cross. But I think you're correct. Some illumination does help, though. It does give me some perspective as to who you were in a previous life, and, well, maybe a powerful, ambitious, and dangerous woman You might yet
Yeah.
become that again.
Hopefully with a penchant for being a little bit kinder to people.
Perhaps.
That wasn't the only thing I wanted to talk to you about. I just thought, hey, maybe I should tell you. You're from around those parts, I suppose. I'm headed
Mm-hmm.
to Augur City
Oh,
with the intention of doing some research. You can imagine where.
and so you expect to run into your old devil contract.
I do. I do expect that. I have considered just not going inside and letting my party do the research for me. I'm just wondering how much trouble do you think I'm in for if I show my face again? Especially with more recovered memories than I had the last time.
Well, the issue is how you would display yourself to Hushen. If you show off as competent enough, he might attempt to draw upon his side of the contract.
That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried he's going to be like, time's up, time to start murdering left and right. And again, I just said I was trying to be a little bit more kinder.
You did mention that. The safest route would be to just have to prevent yourselves from entering an Arcanium. However, there is an issue with that. As part of the Merigard Academy, it will sometimes require that you enter an Arcanium to teleport here, especially in times of crises.
I figured if I just didn't go into the library, he might not even know I was there.
That is not how these things work.
Okay, so you think it might be better just to bite the bullet and...
I have heard it on good word that Azariel would accept a pact with you.
Oh, has he mentioned that?
Yes. I speak with him regularly. And then we would share a patron.
He's your patron?
Yes. I did
Oh.
not realize that was a secret. I did bring him here to speak with you.
I just, well, you are incredibly well connected. I just didn't realize. It is interesting thought. Maybe you could lay out like a pitch for me, like what, other than helping me circumvent Hushen's nonsense.
It's quite simple. Azariel, or as he likes to go by, Vicar, would provide you information whenever you needed it. As a prince of intelligence, he has access to histories and peoples that no other patron of the fiendish variety could ever boast. And in return, he only asks that every once in a while in the occasional fight that you're in, which you will be in them, as a contractor for the Merigard, you send one or two of the souls that you vanquish to him, instead of to their, well, assumed afterlife.
I'm assuming terrible things await those souls if they're going to the hells.
From what I understand, no. He turns them to Abishai, which are other devilish servants and agents that work for him.
Okay.
He does not take souls to turn into lemurs. He considers those to be a waste of time. He also has no patience for imps.
How would he help me with Hushen?
If you had a contract with the Prince of Intelligence of the second layer of Hell, Hushen would have no sway over you.
I could just be like, fuck off with your contract.
It would be a benefit of taking a pact with Vicar. He would eventually call upon you for a bigger task, but he hasn't called on me for mine yet, so...
Yet?
No.
You made your pact several centuries ago.
I did. With no regrets.
He wouldn't ask me for 400 souls, would he? I mean, innocent souls.
I can honestly say from my own practices with Vicar, no.
Insight check.
Roll an insight check.
19. I mean, God, she's the fucking warlock instructor. I'm sure she could lie her way out of a
You
paper
firmly
bag.
believe she's telling you the truth. Whether that means her deception is insane or her
Or she's telling me
persuasion
the
is
truth.
insane. Yeah, you don't know.
What I'm worried about is having to do what Hushan tells me to do. I've already sacrificed 400 souls once. 400 innocent souls. And I saw myself rip them off of Mount Celestia myself.
Make no mistake. Wait. When?
I don't know. Sometime after the sacrifice of Tuskel's Lane.
When was that?
Let me look at my notes. It's in my timeline. Where is that? Timeline. Tuskel's Lane, 5681.
Lorna,
Yes?
how would those souls have gotten to Mount Celestia?
I don't know. I didn't think about that. I was there. I was with Hushan. I took them off of Mount Celestia. But they couldn't have been there if it was during the silence.
So, Hushen had you take 400 innocent souls from heaven, whilst the 400 doomed in Tuskel's Lane.
I don't understand.
Hushen played you.
How?
If he took you to Mount Celestia to collect 400 souls, but the souls you released from their bodily forms in Ceres were not there, then you just gathered the afterlives of 400 people.
Different people.
Ruining the afterlives of 800.
Or like kind of like knees weak. I think she like grips the side of the piano.
Hushen would know this. He played, well, your previous self. All within the terms of a contract.
How could he collect from me twice? How could I have been played like that? She was intelligent. She wouldn't have been.
What she was doing might have been emotional. It was all driven by emotion, was it not?
Yes.
Hushen likely saw this as a weakness, and decided to try.
Doesn't that mean the terms of the contract are fulfilled?
I don't know, not without seeing the contract.
He said 400 souls. He can't lie.
He can not tell you the whole truth. But if he did play you, that might be grounds, in a conversation with him, to dismiss the contract. if a pact with Vika is something you'd like to avoid.
Which one would piss him off more?
A pact with Azarael.
I think that's what I want to make.
Are you sure?
If I could tear him apart with my own hands, I would, but if this is all I can do right now, that's what I want to do.
I am afraid the patron of the Arcaniums might be a bit beyond you at the moment.
At the moment, there's still time.
There is always time.
Lorna looks angry. Like the hand that gripped the piano so she wouldn't like fall to her knees is like clenching, white knuckling the wood.
Elise nods and she says, "Allow me to get the paperwork."
I think Lorna just swallows hard and nods stiffly.
Why don't you go get yourself a drink or something to eat? Or perhaps...
How much time do you think you'll need?
an hour.
Okay.
It is a ritual I have to prepare. The paperwork is just a fancy way of saying it.
Okay.
Lorna, what Hushen did, it is what devils do. Understand that. Also understand that when you have one on your side, it's a lot harder for others to pull one over on you.
I never want that to happen again.
She nods. She stands up from the piano, and she says, "Come back in an hour. I'll be ready for you."
As Lorna kind of turns to leave, she just kind of says under her breath, "If I'm gonna go to hell anyways." And that's it.
Elise is rolling an insight to see if you want the last word, or if she should add a comment. She rolled a natural 1. So she says, "At least with the patron, you'll be in good company."
I mean, that might actually be reassuring.
As you leave the Warlock's classroom...
Rage!
Yeah. What does Lorna
Lorna's
do?
mad. She's... Oh, he made her an even worse person than she already was. And wanted more out of her because he thought he could get more. That fucker. Oh, man.
Do you basically just steam around for an hour before coming back, or do you do something?
I think she's trying to stay in her feelings. I don't think she wants to, like, cool off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just keep
Like, she's
thinking
not trying to
about it.
calm down. She's kind of like in a... it's feeding itself, right? Like, the longer she thinks about it, the more angry she gets. Like, the fact that she is personally responsible for, like, the eternal damnation of 800 people is really upsetting to her. And it could have been more. Yeah. So, like the I'm trying to be a good fucking person just keeps kind of like...
Yeah.
The only neutral good person responsible for 800 souls.
Okay. So you basically just steam yourself up even more, like pacing, and no one seems to bother you.
Yeah. She does not look like she's in for a conversation right now.
So you return to the Warlock's classroom, unless there is something else you'd like to do. Okay. When you return to the Warlock's classroom, Elise is wearing a different gown. It is...
I should have changed.
She's wearing a black and red gown that is... well, it's alluring, but it doesn't show any flesh. It's just very much like fit to the body. And she stands over a mark on the ground that you see appears to be an A with 3 lines in the middle. There are candles lit in the room, and this music is incorrect for this. She looks to you as you enter, and she says, Miss Lorna Halloweth, what is your name by birth?
Dahlia Cross.
Dahlia Cross. And as she says that, you suddenly notice the candles are shining light throughout the room, but you notice something weird. Your shadow is not reflected away from the candles behind you. It is ahead of you, in the middle of the symbol on the ground. Dahlia Cross, do you accept the terms of service with Azar Uriel, Prince of Intelligence and Spies of the 2nd layer of the 9 Hells?
Yes.
You understand that you'll be indebted to him for the rest of your life, but in return, he'll be indebted to you for the rest of your life.
I understand.
Any tasks you perform in his name will be justly rewarded by his discretion. Any tasks that he performs in your name will be justly rewarded by your discretion. In return for this contract, you will be imbued with magical powers so seated by the hells. Your devilish strengths will be enforced by him. Your fears, rages, angers, and happiness will be his to share. Is this fair to you?
Whatever it takes.
Suddenly, as Elise opens her hands, a contract describing the things I've just said to you appears. And you see there are 2 lines. One is signed Lord Azaroriel de Montefiore. And then there's an open line beneath it.
All right. Dahlia Cross.
The instant you write it, that contract burns away, and as it does, the shadow, your shadow, suddenly steps off the ground, and you see the same figure that you saw so long ago, except it has a, well, devilish face that seems to peek out from the shadow that you couldn't see before. Dahlia Cross. It is a pleasure to be doing business with you.
My lord.
Please, just call me Vicar. We are colleagues after all now.
Vicar.
You have rage within you.
I do.
I think I understand its source.
Will you help me?
That is the agreement.
Then I'm satisfied.
I hope you do not mind if I peek in every once in a while and see what you are up to.
I already let you have a taste of me. What else could I possibly mind?
Be careful that you say such things. And then he steps back into the shadow and it drops back down to the floor. And as soon as that happens, the ritual suddenly ends and it's like this air is suddenly gone out of the room. Elise is smiling. She's like holding her chin in one hand and she says, "You handled that well."
Wasn't our first meeting.
That's true. Some faint at the first sight of their patron, but I know that Vicar can be imposing. Mechanically, you can substitute a level you already have for a warlock level, or you can take a warlock level in your next level up.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. So you now have access to the warlock subclass of the fiendish
Boy.
variety.
I love making choices on impulse.
Apparently so.
Hey, man, I didn't. He's gonna pay. Okay. She'll look at Elise. Thank you for helping make the arrangements.
This is my job. Now, you do have a natural willpower about yourself. If you require some training, you are welcome to cross-train here with me. Learn the ways of the warlock, but Vicar can be an exceptional educator on his own.
And I think I am a hands-on learner.
Then I wish you luck. And don't forget to stop by.
Oh, I'm certain I'll be back. I'm on a mission for a couple weeks, but...
Well, now, you're also one of my colleagues. We both work for Vicar.
Yes.
She looks at you very intensely, and she says, I look forward to it. And now I really must get back to my song. And it's like the ritual is suddenly like wiped away.
Lorna just says, you had it. You were almost there. It's something I'm very familiar with.
Thank you.
Let me hear it when it's done.
That can happen. She sits back down. What do you do?
Lorna has a thing tonight. I think she's going to avoid her party for the rest of the day.
Okay.
She may have made an impulsive decision.
She sure did.
And she has to do this thing with Luna, so she's going to wait until night, just like, and try not to, like, have any regrets.
Okay. Sure.
Maleficent may be involved.
You try and basically relax.
Yeah.
You have a new voice in your head.
Like the 4th or 5th.
Yeah. Well,
Saccharine, Lily, Requiem, and Vicar.
Vicar, yeah.
Amazing. It's like a big happy family.
The voice in your head, the new one, says, it is odd to not be the only one looking in.
Yeah, it's a little crowded up there.
He doesn't say anything else. Okay, so you pass the time trying to mellow out, basically.
Literally mellow out, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What is going through Lorna's head right now?
Man, she's thinking about all of the people who've just been doomed from ever crossing her path. Even though it wasn't her, but she, like, even now still, like, there was, if she had just let Hushen lead her out of fear of repercussions, there would have been more deaths. And if she had stayed with the master and done her bidding, more deaths. And she flicks back to that poor man. She had to, her first real murder, her kill that the master made her commit, the day she lost her hand. Just, even now as a new person, she still can't seem to not just have blood on her hands. She's tired of feeling like that's just inevitable. She wants people who deserve to die and to feel pain to die and feel pain, and not have it just be someone who gets in the way or it's in the wrong place at the wrong time. She's thinking about the master and her getting what she deserves. And Hu Shen getting what he deserves. People who deserve it.
That's a lot. And it sounds frustrating.
Which is a great headspace to be in when you're going to go meet Luminos.
Yeah, it's true. I think you basically... So you're, like, isolating a little bit?
Oh, yeah. She's not trying to face her party members right now.
Need you to roll me a stealth check.
Oh, boy. I have advantage. Let me see if my Cloak of Elvenkind pertains here. It's advantage to hide. Does this count for a Cloak of Elvenkind?
Yeah, you're trying to avoid people.
13. Not very sneaky.
Where? Where are you trying to isolate?
She probably spent a lot of it in her room. And like maybe creep out for like needs, like bathroom, food, that's it. And like it's get in the hall for food and get back out.
Okay. Towards the evening, there's a knock at your door.
Oh my. Who didn't get the memo? I don't say that. Penn does. I think Lorna would like wait in silence and just hope it goes away.
You rolled a 13 on stealth.
Someone knows I'm in there.
You hear, "Come on, Lorna, I know you're in there."
Who is it? Is it Lilith?
Yeah.
Ah, fuck me. I think Lorna freezes, very deer in headlights, and then just she'll get up and open the door and say, "Oh, normally the positions are reversed."
Yeah.
She'll step aside to make room for her to come in.
Thanks. She steps in.
Door shut. Hey.
I have a problem.
Okay.
It's a master-shaped problem.
How can I help?
You can't.
I can. That's good.
No, you can't.
I can't. Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it?
Roll me an insight check.
She's gonna stab me. Insight check. Dirty 20.
She's very twitchy. She, like, you see her hands are shaking a little bit. You suspect she's dealing with a adrenaline rush. It looks like someone
good.
It looks like someone who's getting ready for a fight.
Lorna just kind of lifts her hand up in like a placating way. You know, I would help you. You might not think I can right now, but I can if you trust me.
She found something. Or heard something.
Are you okay? You look not good.
What do you tell someone who has to do something they don't want to do?
Fuck off. You say that to the person making you do something you don't want to do.
What if you can't say that?
I've never known you to shy away from the words fuck off.
It's not like that.
You do what you think is right.
What I think is right will get my sister killed.
She mean a lot to you?
Yeah. And the master
Well,
has her.
I can't blame you for doing things that you don't want to do.
I used to hate you. I used to see you as the spoiled bitch who ran to the master because she couldn't handle her own shit. The sort of person who would look down on someone like me. You didn't. God, you were so fucking annoying.
Lilith, if you try, if you at least try, will your sister be okay?
Yeah.
Then try.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I need you to roll initiative. As Lilith
Okay.
pulls a short sword.
Yeah. I rolled a 9 because of course I did.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna pull you up on the main map here.
yeah.
One moment. You rolled a 9. She rolled like a 23.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. That is not the right music. Sorry, hold on.
Okay.
As Lilith draws the short sword, she suddenly rushes towards you. She does not look happy about what is happening. As she brings the short sword up to you, she's going to make 2 attacks.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a natural 2. The first attack misses. Which is...
Actually, it doesn't.
You have an
Want to hold
AC...
still.
Okay. You still have a natural AC.
Mm-hmm.
So she rolled a 10 to hit.
They give her silvery barbs.
That's not really how it works.
I know.
You cannot give her advantage to hit you. You have to give... It's a disadvantage. So... With dice that bad, she still fails. But she gets a second attack. Okay. That is a 13 to hit.
Lorna doesn't dodge.
You take 9 points of slashing damage as the short sword cuts into you. As the second attack lands, she sees that you're not resisting. Water begins to form in her eyes as she says, "At least fight back."
And it has to be convincing.
Oh, you fuck. It's your turn.
There's a window in her room, right?
Yeah.
She is going to turn and run for it. No, I'm not action disengaging.
Okay, Lilith will attempt to slash at you. That's a 16 to hit.
And it's
This is with the magic short sword. That's 15 points of slashing damage.
Eesh. Okay. She sprints to the window. How big is the room?
Oh, it's not big. It's
Yeah.
15 feet.
Can she throw herself out of it?
Roll me athletics.
Okay.
The window is closed.
Yeah. 16. Flat 16, no
Yeah.
modifiers.
You do take some slashing damage as you
Yep.
crash through the window. As you crash through the window, you go flying out of it. It's only the first story. So you basically just thud on the ground outside. You're bleeding all over the place. As that happens, I need you to roll me a d10.
How much slashing damage should I take?
3.
Okay. D10. 3.
Okay. You land on the ground. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, you land on the ground, and as you do, outside, not immediately outside, but very close, a familiar face looks down at you.
Oh.
You see the bard instructor, Tally, is looking up at the window, and she looks down at you, and she says, "What the nine hells is happening out here?" And then she looks up, and she sees Lilith, like, climbing through the window, blades covered in your blood. "Oh, can't be having this." And Tally casts Hold Person on Lilith. Lilith's going to make a wisdom save. Lilith barely fails, but she does fail. Lilith is held right as she's climbing out the window, and she just, like, slumps over and falls on the ground. She will take some slashing damage. Okay. And Tally has joined initiative. Yeah, so that was Tally's turn. She goes on a 22. So that was basically Tally's reaction to seeing you and this happening as she cast Hold Person. Lilith is held. She makes her save at the end of the round. She fails with a natural 6. Tally's turn. She looks down at you. "What the fuck? What's happening? Why are you under attack by our fighter?"
No, wait for my turn.
You can talk.
Okay. Lorna would just look up at her, bloody slash to hell, and she would just say, "Don't hurt her. Don't punish her. She's just doing what she has to do. Let me get away, and it's all good." Then she did her best. Please.
Roll me a persuasion check.
26.
Go to the physiker. Then, if you can't go, go! And she just yells at you to run
Lorna
off.
will wings out.
What the fuck?
She'll just look back at Lilith, who's probably still paralyzed or shaking it off, and she'll just.
You see, like, Ilrad, the fighting instructor, running over as you're flying off, and you also see Anscombe running over because he was with Ilrad. As you're flying away.
Oh, she actually, if she sees Anscombe, she won't fly away.
Okay.
They're still out though. She'll look back at Lilith with just this most, "I don't blame you. This isn't your fault." The kind of expression she's wearing. "I'm sorry it has to be this way." And then she'll look at the instructors and just say, "It's fine. She just was doing what she had to do."
Ilrad's like, "What the hell does that mean?" And Anscombe says, "Oh, we'll talk about it." And they you see Tally is like concentrating on the whole person, Ilrad goes and picks up Lilith, who's still held, so he like picks her up in the awkward position. Straight to the brig, then. And he begins heading in to the building. Anscombe's looking back at you.
Can you help me do the physicry?
Yeah. And he runs your way. That's the end of combat. Okay. Lilith does not save on the whole person the entire way. Anscombe's with you. Are you still flying?
No, they came out so she could flee, but as soon as she saw him, she like relaxed.
What the hell happened? Are you alright?
I could use some stitches, actually.
Yeah, we'll get to Zurich's right away. And he basically walks with you, half carrying you under his shoulder. Just up, it's right up the street, right to the physicary.
As they're kind of hobbling along, Lorna would just say to him, I guess the master knows we're not on the same team anymore.
How did she find out?
She was told to do that.
Shit.
I don't know how she found out, but I know Lilith was just doing what she had to do to keep herself and the people she loves safe, and that's why I don't want anything bad to happen to her.
Shit. Alright.
We should leave as soon as possible, though, or at least I should.
The Academy know? Do they know what's going on here?
I don't know. I guess they know now.
We have to... Okay, after you get stitched up, we need to talk to Persh.
Yeah.
You head to the physicary. It's very close by. Let me pull up... As you stumble into the physicary... one moment, making a roll. It's a little busy, but you are coming in with gaping wounds. So Zurich sees that you're bleeding heavily. He says, "Oh, all right. You just gonna finish this, and then you go have a seat. I'll be with you in a moment." And just like he promised, he finishes the patch on the person he's working on, and then comes over to you. And he doesn't say a thing. He just begins to close up your wounds.
Mm-hmm. Lorna would just kind of weakly say, "Would you believe I fell out a window?"
With this much glass in your wounds, I would believe that's part of it. But I know what a sword cut looks like.
It's a window made of swords.
I'm sure it was. As he's like stitching, just under his breath responding to you. It's a new kind of mosaic I've not heard of before. Right.
They're really popular in Irongate.
It's a place I haven't heard the name of in a while.
Famous for their glasswork.
Yes, they are. Right. Bite this.
I don't think she has time to process it before it's
He's
out.
like shoving basically what looks like a cinnamon stick in your mouth. It doesn't taste like much. But as he is like stitching up one of the wounds, there's a nerve that's cut and it hurts so bad as he stitches it. You heal for 31 hit points.
Oh, I'm back to full.
Yeah.
Good job, Zurich.
He quickly stitches and bandages you all the way up. And as he sits back, he says, "It is my policy not to charge for emergent wounds and those who are in true danger.
Do you take tips, at least?
I wouldn't deny it."
Should give him 5 gold.
Right.
Thanks, Zurich.
Please be more careful around windows made of swords.
I won't be making that mistake again.
He looks over at Anscombe and says, "You look unhurt." And Anscombe says, "I'm fine."
He's a lot wiser than I am.
Kind of like this, though. And he gestures to something in your hair.
So what is it?
Anscombe just notices it as well, and he says, "Huh, is that where you were today? That's new."
What is it? Just take it out?
Zurich looks confused at you, and he holds up a mirror. Now, framing your face on both sides is a red streak in your hair. On both sides. It is crimson red.
Oh. Yeah, I'm always trying to make new fashion statements.
It looks good on you.
Thanks.
I thought it was blood, but no, it's not. Anscombe's inside checking you. He rolled an 18. What's he get? How's Lorna doing?
I'm gonna roll deception at disadvantage because she's a little frazzled.
Yeah.
17. There's just a moment before she kind of like puts on her performer's face where she's clearly like, what are you talking about? Like this was a surprise for her too. Or she's like, oh yeah, of course I did that. So he knows
Something's
I
up.
wasn't expecting. Yeah, something's up with that.
He just... All right. Let's go talk to Persh. Thank you again, Zurich. Well, any time. Well, not any time. Stop getting injured.
She'll thank him again.
As you leave the physicary and you make your way back to the Merigard, when you get in through the double doors, Persh is looking up. Like, it's for the first time you've ever seen him at his desk without a quill or pen in his hand. Mm-hmm. He's just, his arms are folded on the desk and he's looking at the two of you as you enter. And he says, "Why have I just seen Lilith escorted to the brig?"
I asked her not to be punished. I mean, obviously that's not my call, but, you know, I'm not upset.
She attacked you.
I know.
Why?
I guess my previous sponsor caught wind somehow that I'm no longer in her exclusive employ.
And so, what? Lilith attacks you because she's following orders. Orders from another entity.
She's being threatened. Her family.
How do you know that?
She told me before she attacked me.
Persh pinches the bridge of his nose.
She didn't want to do it. But if she didn't, her family would be in trouble.
This is a problem. All right. I'm going to go get Elise, and we are going to have a conversation with Lilith, and you are going to recover and stay out of her way in the meantime.
I'm not going to be seen.
You're not to talk to Lilith until we get this sorted out.
I understand.
Your mission might be moved.
What do you mean?
Don't leave town for a minute until we have a conversation with Lilith. It might be dangerous.
Okay.
And Persh gets up, and he goes toward the Warlock classroom. Anscombe says, "He seems angry. More than normal."
Yeah. Do you think when he said don't leave town, I'm not allowed in the woods?
The what? It's probably fine. He said the mission, so probably don't go to Augur City.
Yeah, I have something I need to do tonight that this is kind of not what I expected to deal with.
I'm sure that'd probably be fine.
Great. I have to go alone. I'll probably be fine, right?
Why do you have to go alone?
Because I have to commune with Luminos about making repentance.
It's never easy with you, is it? Like, it's never just, I wanted to go for a walk or look for almonds. It's always something insane. All right. Yeah, that's probably fine.
I need to find a wonder of ants.
Sure. What does that mean?
I need to find something miraculous and natural so I can repent to a druid coven I snubbed several centuries ago.
Okay. I'll be at the Merry Guard when you're finished if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, I will.
What is this about? He points at the red hair.
I have a theory.
Share it?
I think Lorna just kind of like looks at him, kind of like just taps her forehead against his chest, and then just cries.
Oh, God. He will just hug you. Wraps both his arms around you and just lets you cry on his chest.
I made an impulsive decision.
Okay. That's okay, right?
I don't know. At least that it probably won't be a problem for a couple more centuries, and I don't even know if I'll live that long, so it's probably fine.
And you can feel him like looking up, like, what the fuck? And he just rests his chin on the top of your head and he says, I'm sure whatever it is, it's gonna be alright.
I made a pact with the Prince of Hell.
Okay. What? It'll be alright. Why did you do that?
Because I have a contract with a different devil, and I wanted to get out of that contract, so I went to his boss.
Oh. So now you have so you're a warlock now?
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't felt the tingles yet, but my hair is red, and it wasn't this morning.
It's just a little bit of it. It looks really hot.
Thanks. Do you think it's gonna turn all red?
I don't know. Is Elise's hair red?
No.
Maybe you should talk to the devil about it.
Okay.
Can I just hold you right now?
Yeah. I'll stop talking.
No, you can talk. He does hug you. And as you stand in the foyer of the Merry Guard, of the Merry Guard Contracting Company.
Yeah, the real Marigard.
By yourself with Anscombe, having just been attacked by Lilith. That is where we will stop tonight's session.
Lilith. She was just doing what she was told.
Thank you
It
for playing
hurt.
with me tonight. I'm sorry to hurt you. I hope you had a good time. So those of you who are at home or at work or watching, hi Pen.
Hi Pen, why do you do this?
We love you. And I will see you next time. Good night, everybody.